Okay, so welcome to the first class of CSE 574, wireless and mobile networking. So we are going to cover four things. At least 4 or 5 of you have taken the previous course, so you know exactly what I'm going to cover in the first class. But for rest of you, this may be new. Goals of this course, grading, contents of the course, and the schedule. So first of all, there are two things in this course, mobile and wireless. Most of us take them as same, but they are not. Okay? Mobile is opposite of stationary. Alright? So most of you are stationary right now. I am little bit mobile. And so that is, mobility means you can be walking, going from one room to the next room, going from one country to the next country. That is mobility. Wireless is opposite of wired. And so I don't know if anybody here is wired, because I don't see any Ethernet ports here. But in my office, when I'm in my office, I'm wired, but right now I'm wireless. Right? And so what is happening is wired is going away. Alright, most of your computers and most of my computers, in fact, they don't even have an Ethernet port anymore. Right? None of your phones have any Ethernet ports. This was not the case just 5 years ago, and about 10 or 15 years ago, wireless was an option that you had to buy extra. If you bought a computer, it came with a wired Ethernet port, and if you wanted wireless, you paid few bucks extra. Nowadays, they don't even ask you. So that is what the difference is: wireless and wired, mobile and stationary. And actually, both, the whole world is turning to both, basically. So we are no longer stationary, and we are no longer wired. Right? So if you want to do networking today is all wireless, is all mobile. So wireless networking, well, so what difference does it make whether it is wired or wireless? First of all, wireless means you're not tied to walls or infrastructure, and therefore you don't need a prior infrastructure. You could just take two computers right in the wild. You could go sit in the middle of nowhere, and they could talk to each other with wireless. Actually, they could talk to each other with probably wired as well. In most cases, though, you probably will need a hub or a switch. In the wireless cases, you don't need anything. And that is called ad hoc networking. Ad hoc means basically temporary or something like that. And you don't need a base station or access point or anything. Error prone. Now, the next effect of wireless is... hold on. It's not connected. There is no power here. Maybe some switch it off. Oh, it's not connected now. Okay. Error prone. So wireless has lots of errors, because everything that you do in this room is going to affect the bits which are being transmitted. If you turn on your phone, it is going to affect somebody else's phone. If you talk, it is going to affect somebody else's talk. And so the wireless is basically lots of errors. Frequent disconnections, because if the errors becomes too much, the system cannot get over them and they disconnect. That's what happens to your phone calls oftentimes, right? Resource management and quality of service is a big deal. So in the wireless, we worry about how to give you the quality of service that you are used to getting wired from the wired networks, right? Battery operated, and then wireless is battery operated, so you cannot put too much of energy. When we were doing wired networks, we didn't worry about the battery, we didn't worry about the energy, we didn't worry about anything. But now with wireless, every single joule, which is the unit of energy, or every single watt, which most of you are familiar with, power, counts. And so you will see some of these new wireless standards such as Bluetooth LE, low energy, or Zigbee, or things like that, they're all designed to have the smallest energy that we can use and still get communication done. In fact, the next generation will come, and I don't know whether I will have time to get into that in this class, but that will have communication without any battery. So there will be battery-less communication. You just put something somewhere under the bridge, here, there, and there is a lot of wireless waves going around, solar rays going around. Solar is, of course, very easy, but no, without the solar even, you have lots of wireless going around, and people are trying to harvest that energy and run their circuits. Okay, RFID is a similar idea. In RFID, the RFID may not have a battery, but it gets the energy from the other side. All right, battery operated. Time synchronization is also an issue. I mean, because when you're connected to wire, you can get the clock from the wire, but here, there is no connection, so that is and broadcast. And second thing is wireless means everybody can listen. So we have to worry about security. So what does mobility do? Well, mobility is basically, now you have location issues. So the issue is that if you are doing the same Google search here, the answer is different than if you are doing it in some other country, or if in some other city, or in some other street. If you are looking for a coffee shop, the answer is very different. Right? You don't want to know where the biggest coffee shop is, you want to know where the coffee shop is near this place. So location makes a very big difference. And that also makes a big problem because when IP was designed, it was not designed to be location sensitive. I mean, actually it is location sensitive. Sorry, it was designed to be location sensitive. So the problem is that if you connect your computer to the wall here, you will get an IP address which is different than if you connect it to the next building. So you cannot take your connection from here to the next building. All your connections will be broken. All your file transfers will be stopped. And everything that you are doing here will have to restart. What we want now is with wireless, and you can do that nowadays mostly, is that you can move from building to building to city, and still your communication continues. You can still keep watching the same movie. You can still keep talking. Right? So that is all mobility issue. Addressing, well, I think I kind of talked both. Addressing, I already talked about IP addressing changes, and handoff. And so basically what happens is with wireless, as you move from place to place to place, you are being handed off from access point to access point to access point continuously. So how is all that done? That's an issue. So goals of this course. Goals of this course are comprehensive course on wireless and mobile network. We start from the beginning where you don't know anything about wireless, and we take you to the best. And let me promise you that after this course, anybody else in the world is not teaching this kind of stuff. Okay, we are going to teach you what is happening right now in the industry, this year, last year, and year before, which is not even in the books. And there are no textbooks for this course. People follow the courses, okay? So this is a comprehensive course. This could be a lot of work for you. This is a lot of work for me. But if you are ready for it, then it is a good course for you, because basically we are going to take you from 0 to infinity, right, in this course, in one semester. Broad coverage of current areas, and because of being that it is a breadth first course. Okay, so we are not going to, if you need something, you can dig deep, and then we will allow you to do that too, and I require you to do that too. I will take one topic, each of you will take one topic, and you will dig deep in that topic. So that is another part of this course. Intro to physical layer. So we'll start with wireless communication. So what happens is in many universities, there is a course called wireless communication. So the difference between communication and networking is communication is the layer 1, physical layer. Okay, there they teach you in great detail how to send a bit from here to there. And networking starts from the layer 2. Media access control. And so this is networking course. But if you don't know how the bits get from here to there, then you really won't know. And so we do have to have 1 or 2 classes. I will have 1 or 2 classes on wireless communication. And actually that might be even the next class or the class after next. And then we move on to the rest of the layers. wireless communication. And the emphasis is on actually higher layers, and this is a networking course, so we talk about layer 2 and 3. We really don't get into layer 2, 3, and maybe 4, but not applications. So we are not going to get into applications, gaming, and things like that. But there are lots of applications of wireless which you can think about. Emphasize both present and near future. So we talk about industry standards and products, and much of the material in this course comes from the industry standards. So there is new things happening in the industry right now, and such as you will see in the next few slides. Those, as I said, are not in the books. They are all in the industry, and so we'll cover that, and the future research, of course, as well. This is a graduate course. It's not an undergrad course. This is a graduate course, so there is no reliance on the textbook or one textbook. When I teach an undergrad course, we follow a book line by line from beginning to the end. Okay? But this is graduate. You are supposed to be able to read stuff from different places. So there is no textbook. Lot of independent reading and writing, and that survey paper. Everybody has to write a survey paper, and that survey paper is the one topic that you will go into detail and go into the depth, and that is just basically for you to learn the techniques of going into the depth, so that when you get out of here, you will not be working on that topic. You will not be working on wireless, whatever I teach you, because there will be something else next year new. Right? You will be working on that, something that I haven't even taught you, even though you got the best, but the best changes every year. Right? So you should know how to get into the depth of whatever you are asked to get into the depth of. Because even if we got into the depth of one thing here, it won't help you at all. So basically we teach you the techniques more than the material. And peer reviews. So the survey paper will also be reviewed by other people in the class. So each of you will review 3 papers, and each of us will get 3 reviews. Why wireless networking? Now, if you want to do anything in networking, and I will tell you there are plenty of reasons why you want to do in networking. First of all, computer science today has become fundamental thing. Even if you are not a computer scientist, you need to know about computers and computer science. Right? Everybody needs that 131 basic background. So computer science becomes fundamental, but in computer science, networking is the key. And let me tell you that every company that is making money today, whether it is Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Amazon, all of them are making money in networking. And the most valued company today, Apple, is basically based upon mobile networking. They are the leader in mobile networking. Right? So you name any companies that are hiring, they're all networking companies. And if they're networking companies, they need wireless. Okay? So wireless is ubiquitous. Wireless is ubiquitous. Wi-Fi. By the Wi-Fi, what it means is wireless fidelity. Wireless fidelity, basically, that somehow meant that somehow equivalent to the wired network of the time, which was 1999 when Wi-Fi was standardized. So whatever the network were there at that time, we wanted to be equivalent to that. Most of the access is wireless today. So today, if you look at a network has a core and the access. Access is outside, right? The edge is all wireless. When you read your email today, when you send an email or go to browse or everything else, you are doing wirelessly. And then it goes on a wired network. Okay, so yes, wired is required, but that is required in the data centers, in the core network, in the carrier network, and so on and so forth. Right? But access is now completely wireless. Smartphones, tablets, laptops, everything have no wired connections anymore. Most of the telecommunication carriers' revenue is in wireless. Now, if you are a telephone company, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, previously they used to have a telephone line business. They used to give you telephone line to the home, but most of you don't get that telephone line anymore. You don't order the telephone line, so they're out of business on that one. Right? And so most of the money is coming from wireless. And things are changing every year. So right now you have 4G. 5G is in the works. We will cover 5G in this course. Okay, 5G. 5G promises to give you 1 gigabit per second. Why would you need wired at all if you can get 1 gigabit per second? Right? And it's also called LTE advanced. LTE is what you have right now. LTE advanced. Vehicular networking. So all the cars will be connected and they would be able to talk to each other, yell at each other, honk at each other. You don't have to honk by sound. You could just send a text. I'm just kidding. But basically, so the idea is all the networks, all the vehicles would be connected. And so that is part of this course as well. Cognitive networks. Now the third problem is that there is no spectrum. And so far in the past, what used to happen is the spectrum used to be licensed. And so if you want to transmit, let's say TV station, you would go to the FCC and then ask for a channel and they will give you a channel for some amount of money. So that is your spectrum. Nobody can use it. If you are AT&T and if you wanted to run a telephone service here in the city of St. Louis, you will go to FCC and actually there is an auction. You participate in the auction. Whoever gives the biggest amount of money gets a particular channel. Okay? But the problem is if we give it to somebody and they don't use it, then everybody is at a disadvantage. Not only they are wasting their money, but they are wasting our opportunity. So now we have to become cognitive, which means that if you are not using it, somebody else will. Okay? So that is sharing unused spectrum. Mobile internet started on June 29, 2007, not very long ago. June 29, 2007. Today is 8 years ago. So basically, that is the day that Apple announced iPhone. Now, before that, there was mobile internet. I have had smartphones, I don't even remember for how long, but they were not really smart at all. They didn't really give me the freedom to connect. What Apple did was, they not only made a phone which was full computer, but they also gave a app market, which was totally open. Anybody could write a program and anybody could sell a program. Before that, you could buy only programs from Microsoft or some big companies, but now you can buy from some homemade people. You don't even know who you're buying from because everybody can put their app on Apple. Right? So that whole app market opened up the whole, what do you call, the ingenuity, the whole intelligence and smartness and the things are developing too fast. So now we are using smartphones for everything, and that is really the mobile internet, the birth of mobile internet. And today nobody can live without having a mobile website or a mobile app. So in 2014, mobile traffic was 2.5 times 10 raised to 18 bytes per month. Now, most of us can't even remember what 10 raised to 18 is, so I don't even try to pronounce that. Just 2 raised to 18. Sorry, 10 raised to 18. And that is actually 30 times the total global internet traffic in 2000. So, wired internet traffic. In the year 2000, 30 times that went over the wireless. So, this is how it is growing, exponentially. And the third thing is mobile video traffic was more than 55% of the mobile video traffic in, okay, so basically half of that traffic that is going on the phones is video. People are watching video. If you want to watch, previously we couldn't even dare to watch video on the net because the speed was so slow, the movie will stop and jerk and so on and so forth. Now the technology has advanced that you can watch a movie without any problem. And so that's why we are watching it. And you can do Netflix, you can do Amazon Video, you can do anything you want. But basically, it just looks as good as on the TV, wired TV. But the issues there are errors, disconnection, limited bandwidth, limited distance. So all of these we'll talk about as to how to solve. By the way, every slide has a reference where the material came from. And all of this is very recent. Okay. And so basically not every slide has a reference, but whenever there is some information, you need to know where it came from, and I put that right on the slide. So if you need more information about it, you can go to that. Internet of Things has started happening. So now we are wearing smart watches, watching smart TVs, driving smart cars, running smartly, are doing smart health. Our homes are smart, our wine is smart, our spaces are smart, industries are smart, cities are smart. Everything is smart, and everything is wireless. Remember, what is smart? Smart is connected to the internet. And connected to the internet, you know how to connect. Wireless. Okay, you couldn't be driving a car with wired. You couldn't be, doing a smart watch, with wired, or much of these things. Probably you could have wired smart home, but or industries, but it is much easier to do wireless, even there. All right. So again, we need same issues. While all IoT, this is called IoT, so we have to worry about mobility and wireless. So if you go out there today for any job, mobility and wireless is the key. If you need networking, you need mobility and wireless.